Hello guys, welcome back to Simply Blissful Living. Today I'll be sharing a recipe for traditional hot cross buns. Now these are the buns that the crosses are baked into. I know in Fiji there's different types, the one with the red cross being the most popular, and that's usually just painted on afterwards with the food coloring, but this is a traditional version. They do sell this version in Fiji as well. This is very delicious, very soft and fluffy, and it's great with some butter when it's warm right out of the oven. So let me share my recipe with you guys. So these are the ingredients you will need for the buns. We're going to need some bread flour, or strong flour as it's called in other parts of the world. We're going to need some dried fruits here. I'm using a blend of different fruits. There's some pineapples, apples, raisins, gold raisins, and currants in here. We're also going to use the zest of 1 lemon and zest of 1 orange, 2 eggs at room temperature, some regular white sugar or cashew sugar, and we're going to use some melted butter. You want this butter to be melted, and some yeast, and we're going to use some milk. You can use any milk of your choice. Whole milk works. You want this to be lukewarm. You want to be able to dip your finger in there and be comfortable. And then we're going to use a mix of spices and some salt. I will have the exact measurements on my website, and the link to that will be in the description bar below. So we're going to start off by taking a really big bowl and then adding the flour, the yeast, and the sugar, the spices, and the dried fruit along with the salt, and you want to mix all of this really well. This will help the dried fruit get dispersed throughout the batter instead of just sinking to the bottom. Next, we're gonna mix all the wet ingredients together. So I'm taking the milk here, I'm adding the melted butter, and then I'm beating the eggs before adding it to the milk mixture. And then I'm also going to add the zest of the lemon and the orange here. You can also add it with the fruits if you wanted. I just forgot, so I added it with the liquids, but you can do either or. And then you're gonna mix it all together really well. Then the liquid goes into the dry ingredients, and you're just going to mix it really well. I am mixing with a wooden spoon in the beginning, but it does get a little tough to mix around, so I switched over to a rubber spatula. And then eventually I went ahead and used the dough hook on my KitchenAid and just kneaded it using my KitchenAid. You can do this by hand. It's going to take you about 10 minutes to knead by hand. You just empty the contents out to a floured surface and then just knead it with your hand. It takes about 10 minutes. In the KitchenAid, it'll take you about 5 to 7 minutes. Once the dough is well kneaded, you're going to take it out of the bowl and just smooth out the top. And so you just kind of fold it over and then pinch the bottom. And then we're going to plop it back into that bowl, and whatever butter you have left in the cup, the residue, just go ahead and butter the top of the dough so it doesn't form a crust or like a hard skin on it. And we're gonna go ahead and let this rest for about an hour to hour and a half, or until it doubles in size. So it's been about an hour and the dough has doubled up very nicely. It's nice and smooth, and now I'm just going to deflate it, and we're going to get it ready to cut into small pieces. You want to try to remove as many air pockets as possible so there aren't any big holes in the bun when they're done baking. These are going to go in for a second rising, so they are going to fluff up more. Then we're going to go ahead and cut the dough into equal pieces. I got about 16 to 18 pieces. You can make these as big or as small as you want. I think 16 pieces is ideal for this recipe. They're a good size bun. And then once you have all the dough pieces divided, you want to divide them into equal sizes so they bake equally. You will go ahead and take each piece and kind of round out the top and smooth them out, and then pinch the bottom as shown in the video. You can also roll these on the palm of your hands or on a clean surface, and that'll do the trick as well. You just want to make sure you pinch the bottom so when they rise again, they're not all in different shapes. Then you want to take a very well buttered or greased baking pan. You can use a sheet pan or any pan of your choice, and then you're just going to place these quite close together, about half an inch apart on the pan, and then we're going to cover it with a clean towel or saran wrap and let it rise for about 30 minutes. The next step is optional. You do not have to do this if you don't want to put the crosses on the buns, but since we're making traditional hot cross buns, I want to show you. You're just taking some flour and water. I'll have the exact measurements in the recipe, and then you want it to be a smooth slurry. You want to make it as smooth as possible. Then you want to pour this into a Ziploc bag or a piping bag, and if you're using a Ziploc bag, then just snip the little corner, and then you just pipe on the crosses as shown. You just kind of make it a continuous piping instead of doing one cross at a time. It works out. It's okay if it's a little squiggly, if it's not perfect. They bake just fine, as you'll see later on. You can't really tell they're crooked. And then you're gonna go ahead and place it in an oven. I think it's 350 degrees, and I bake these for about 20 minutes or until they're golden brown on top. Once they're golden brown and done, you're gonna make a quick glaze for these. This is also optional, but it does impart a great flavor and makes the buns nice and sticky. It's just sugar and water put in the microwave. Exact measurements and everything will be in the recipe, and then you just brush the tops with these and they're done. You can let them sit for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes they're ready to eat. They're delicious warm. Personally, I love them with the good quality butter along with some tea. They're great with a slice of ham, and they go great with dinners. They're absolutely wonderful for breakfast. I really enjoyed these buns, and I really hope you give this recipe a try. And if you do, please let me know how they turn out for you. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye. Check out my other videos while you're here, and please comment down below and let me know what your favorite food this time of the year is.